Shalom Aleika. Staying in a Bedouin tent this morning. And again in our series here in Israel, this project that we have with Light of Menorah, again the purpose is to try to go to archaeological places, religious sites, cultural places, where indeed maybe many of us would not go to. For instance, I know there's many tours to Israel where American Christians would come and they would stay in 5-star hotels. There's nothing wrong with that, but never experience really the images of the desert and really feeling the images of the desert. Today, we are a place called Chan. Okay, that's the first word in Hebrew, Chan. Ha is the second word. It starts Ha Shayurot. And if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Chan is the Hebrew word for basically means a staying place, a place where you stop by. And the Ha Shayarot is the caravan. So this is a caravan stop. This is a caravan, or this is the name of this little resort. So you can actually come here in Israel, and boy, I tell you, if you're coming to Israel, I highly recommend this for at least a couple days. You can ask me about it because the things that you can do in this area are just quite amazing. But we came here and I felt quite impressed that the Lord really wanted us to bring out the desert images in the Bible. Let me give you an example of a desert image that we're going to, this is not the desert image I'm talking about today or over the next series of places that we're going to stop here in the Negev and in the Dead Sea area. But let me just start out with a desert image that indeed changes a little bit. You'll see what I mean. When we go to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, and we go to Isaiah 40. In Isaiah 40, we read this. And in Hebrew, it follows this way: a voice is calling. Okay, now let's just stop there. A voice is calling, and in Hebrew, the next phrase is in quotes. So whoever this is, the person who's calling out in the desert, states the following. And in the following, he says, "Clear the way for the Lord in the wilderness, make smooth in the desert a highway for our God." So there's a person calling, and they're basically saying, stop, in quotes, come to the desert, come to the wilderness, come to the Negev, because this is the place that we're going to prepare the way of the Lord. Now what's fascinating to me is, as we go into the Gospels account, we go to the Gospel of Mark, and always curious to me why they changed it, because and you can check this in the New American Standard, you can check it in the King James, you can check it in the NIV. In the book of Mark, the same reference to the same verse in Hebrew is made. However, there's a grammatical change, and I don't know why we made the grammatical change based upon the fact what we just read in Isaiah. So, for instance, here's what we've done. And it says this, right at the beginning of Mark, in the beginning of the gospel, right, Mark chapter 1, in the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as it is written in Isaiah the prophet. So he's quoting exactly what I just read. Now remember what I just read. I read there's a voice calling. Stop. Calling what? The phrase is, come to the desert, here, to prepare the way of the Lord. Now Hebrews, Jewish people would understand that, because indeed you go to the desert to prepare the way of the Lord. They were in the desert for 40 years, and God was preparing the next generation to enter the promised land. They got this. But listen to what happens, what we've done to it. And I don't understand why. And maybe any of you out there who are specialists in Bible translation, I'd appreciate maybe an email to see if you know why this happened. Because they added a grammatical mark. Here it is. As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, "Behold, I send my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your way. The voice of one calling in the wilderness." Stop. Then the quote, "Make ready the ways of the Lord." So in Mark, it says there's somebody in the wilderness crying. And we get this picture of John the Baptist in the wilderness. And what is he crying? Prepare the way of the Lord. But that's a misquote of Isaiah. Because Isaiah says, there's a voice of one calling. Stop. What is it? In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Why the difference? Why is there a comma added in Mark? I don't know. I always go back to the fact that the Gospel of Mark was not around in Jesus' day. The Gospel of Mark was not there when John the Baptist was baptizing. All they had was the Torah, and all they had was the prophets. So when this Gospel comes out, and through the Middle Ages, the Byzantine period, the Middle Ages, and so on, why did the church add a comma? I don't know why. I'm going to go back to the original, go back to Isaiah. So with regards to that, that's an interesting piece.